Here we go, match number 2. Well, the first one was a doozy. Sandhawk, always action-packed and a blast. I'm Hot Jukes, of course, next to John Allen, getting ready for 3 Aaron Gales in a row.
Absolutely. With the dual gaming chipsets, 144Hz AMOLED screens, the GT20 Pro will equip teams with up to 120 FPS, which is also the first batch of supported devices, offering an esports level performance and visually stunning experiences here in the 2024 PMWC. That's what you want to see.
Yes,
you want to
sir.
see some cool plays, you want to see some fast reactions, and that's exactly what these phones are going to deliver.
Absolutely. They're ready to deliver it here in just match number 1 alone. But here we go for the first Aaron Gale. We see Inko out of the plane nice and early here. We'll see where they decide to stretch to. It actually looks like they're going to be taking that Milta side. The rest of the teams are going to start moving here. Pretty simple playing path, you know, very high up on the area here. So we'll see where teams are looking to drop and if we are going to see a hot drop here to start things off.
Yeah, we didn't really get a hot drop over on Sandhawk. It was a little bit more reserved. I thought it might be. After the scrims, the teams will have sort of found those openings. So we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see. There were a little bit of early scraps, but that was mostly on the rotational paths, which is kind of what you expect. Let's look at the Northwest. This is, I mean, we're getting these island finishes, man. Let's just get them in early, you know?
That's right.
That is going to be pretty dynamic. Still could go to the mainland, I really wanted to go to military base. That would be fun. IWNRX in Zaki with Alpha 7 in Georgia Pole. Interesting decisions they're going to have to make now. IWNRX have gone to this position a few times. It's kind of a backup drop for them. They've been challenged out and actually drawn pretty short on it by a few other teams as well back in EMEA. So we'll see if they can make their way down south.
Oh boy, they're gonna have to do it quickly here. $3 million on the line in this entire tournament. $1 million going away in the next 3 days here, and these land zones are just chef's kiss. So we're gonna have to see teams, move very, very quickly here, and we see one of them on the move. So CAG Osaka just forgetting all the loot they possibly can get. Just, hey, get a gun, you know, a vest if you can, and just start heading into this next circle.
Yeah, grabbing those vehicles, getting early rotates, pretty standard stuff to be able to get to your drop spots. CAG Osaka looking to move around to close to Ferry Pier, to that western bridge, obviously controlling pretty important rotational path moving forwards if they can hold it. Moneymaker's a little bit more central, trying to get towards Pachinki right now. I think DX Xavier may be drawing up there, but no, they're maybe going to go a little bit further on. Pachinki right now actually looking a little bit deserted, but Moneymaker's going to be beating that south rotation.
Yeah, teams are just trying to say, you know what, we got to bet on a military finish here. So let's just try to get down there as fast as we possibly can. So CAG Osaka is going to be that first team to go down on that western bridge. DX Xavier right behind them. Moneymakers as well. And yep, CAG Osaka catching one of these players out. But now Apollo is stuck wide out in the open. So it looks like they're going to make a very, very early trade here.
Yeah, DX Xavier able to take that one back into control. Unfortunately losing a player, but they do go 1-for-1. That bridge still going to be a hotbed. You've got a lot of other teams going to be putting pressure onto this as well. You've got Moneymakers moving in from that north side. I can't quite see who that is. I think that might be Besiktas as well. Also going to be, there they are, moving in from that northwest side towards this location. The good news for CAG Osaka is that they're already across. Right?
Yeah, they are already across.
The bulk of their team is already across. Losing one player, bad. Getting across to Military Island early, good.
Yeah, had to be a little bit of a misplay, though. I mean, to leave a player like that back for so long, I'm not sure exactly what was kind of going through their mindset on that. Maybe they thought they had a little bit more time than normal, but no. In the World Cup, these teams move fast. DX Xavier was on them. Yeah. So I want to see if CAG Osaka is going to try to gatekeep them, maybe punish them a little bit more somehow. Because when you're down a player this early and with a zone like this, you want to get those early eliminations if you can.
I've historically been a fan of the rotation that Alliance are currently doing. They go for that early swim across from the middle of that mainland, right, down to the beachside compounds. I think getting that done early, in general, plays out very well for the team.
Very safe.
It's very safe. You get a great foothold there. A lot of the teams out to your west and east are going to be fighting each other, and you don't have to go across the bridges yourself.
Yeah, not to mention if the zone does continue to go south, which most likely is going to happen here, you may catch stragglers trying to swim on their way in. So yeah, I like the fact that Alliance did make that move very early, because later on it's going to be difficult, that's for sure. We can already see just how many teams have moved down here already. Now we're looking at Team Reject, so this is going to be on that Milta side. There's a lot of teams that like to hold that bridge, or at least, yeah, and you can see right now Tianba is going to be the squad holding it down here. So they're waiting to see if a team is going to feel like this is wide open and then pull the trigger. So a little bit of a bait play. Team Reject, I think, saw it coming.
Yeah, they're not going to fall for that one. Not that easily. Okay, so CAG, they left a backstop. They did voluntarily leave a backstop there.
No, I don't think it was at all voluntary, because you see his vehicle's all smoky.
Yeah,
so,
okay, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he got popped out, but was able to jump out and at least get one player for his efforts. So, you know, went down without a fight.
Except for that big old flashbang.
That's right.
A stunner.
Absolutely. Speaking of stunner, look at that. Team Reject with the Botate.
Big drift.
They are on the move. This is going to be from that farm side here. Will Alliance see them coming? That's going to be the question.
Alliance a little bit tucked further to the west side. I think Reject might be able to get away with this one.
Wow.
Holding on the south side of the bridge. This is a pretty bold rotate. You don't really know that other side of the bridge is being held. It's being held, rather. Although you do get a little bit of a hint by the fact that Tianba, you might have seen them roll up in a similar scenario, so you maybe are able to piece a few bits of those puzzles together, but you can't be sure. Reject going for that play, if you get spotted, you're just dead.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If there's any players on that bridge, they're usually scouting to see which teams rotate either from the Novo side or right there. And yeah, very surprising, very fortunate. And that's what it takes here at this level, right? You got to be able to take risks. And that's the hard part is, you know, being an IGL in these kind of scenarios. A lot of the times, you have to make a 50-50 decision, and both of them are bad, you know, but you got to be able to make them quickly. Team Reject did just that.
That's a classic Hot Jukes risk take there.
That's right.
That's what we're looking for. Being able to make those ones pay out. D+ Kia slowly starting to gather intel, put their toes in the water for getting across on the bridge. They are at the back of the queue, and Besiktas are currently holding the other side of the bridge, and behind them, they've got DRX to worry about as well. 4MV. They dropped on Military Island, so they didn't have to navigate any of that nonsense. They're just out of it entirely. They get the hill towards the north side of the military base. They're going to be pretty happy with that. The question is, where do they choose? At the moment, it looks like they're settling on a few of those hilltops towards that northwest edge to control a couple of the roads, a couple of the inlets moving from that bridge if teams start to try and spurt their way through.
Yeah, 4MV had an excellent match number one. So, I mean, 13 points on the board already. They're in a great position in this zone. And, you know, I always kind of, you know, I call it the Hot Jukes excuse card, right? I usually punch one for teams for match number one, day one, because you just don't know what happens, right? But, you know, when you're a team that had any nerves here at the start, if you're a team like 4MV, 13 points on the board, a good zone and position here in game number two, all those nerves have got to be gone. So they got to take advantage of it here and now and continue on this ride that they're on. But they're going to have to keep an eye out for Besiktas Black, because they're pretty close by.
Yeah, they are. Going to potentially be a little bit of trouble, but close towards the bridge. They're playing on those buildings at the moment. Generally focused on controlling that bridge. Next circle coming through, which is why I'm sort of giving it a little bit of pause there.
Yeah.
Slap bang onto Alliance, but keeps the Northern Shore on. I'm going to be interested to see if IWNRX try and make the same swim that Alliance did earlier on and come up because of it, but it looks like maybe they're leaning a little bit further west on that approach. They're probably aware that this has happened ahead of them. Yeah,
you know, that swim's going to be so difficult, especially with a circle like this. I think you just got to just stay there, and then if you happen to hear a fight across the way, maybe you try to get that third party going, but at the end of the day, you know, you want to survive as long as possible and then fight late. So we'll see how they decide to play it. You know, Alpha 7 were very late on the rotate in here, all the way down on the military base. They came from Primorsk, so they're going to have a very difficult rotate here. But, man, we'll see exactly how this plays out. Very fortunate circle, by the way, for a squad like Brute Force.
Yeah, it keeps them in with a little bit of a chance. I'm looking at DX right now. I like those hills to the south side of that Alliance compound, playing split around that road. I'm also thinking, what can 4MV do? Because there are some real powerful hilltops here. this is kind of what we expected, right? An engagement between Besiktas and D plus Kier. Besiktas have just been absolutely convinced that they need to hold this bridge, and there are still teams coming through.
Yes.
Try and rack up these points.
Yeah, D plus Kier are going to have to be careful, though, because they're focusing on Besiktas Black. DRX was starting to head towards this location, but they left it, so that's going to give D plus Kia a lot more room to breathe. But they did lose one early on, so you can see KH trying to get onto this rooftop, get a little bit more sight lines going, but that's proven to be a little bit more difficult. A little easier said than done, right?
Maybe. Go on. Give it another go.
One more.
Yeah, one more go. That'll work. I'm sure.
You got to believe.
They'll get it this time. It looks like IWNRX not going to go for the swim just yet, biding their time. I mean, fair enough. You don't really actually need to make this move yet. It's unlikely that the situation to the south, if you changes, you might be able to find an opening in this situation to the north.
Yeah, I think IW Next Ria are completely stuck in this position. They're not leaving it until they absolutely have to. And rightfully so, you got DRX right there next to you. If you start swimming, you're going to get shot at. So they're going to be holding that position. And right now, we're going to see a lot of hurrying up and waiting from these squads. Meanwhile, Alliance, dead center, that is a very hot position. Teams are going to want to start trying to usurp them from that spot. And they do have one player knocked right now.
Is in a, I think, fairly safe position, although CG Osaka, even one player to start to scout out around this location. You can see, yeah, that res does come through for Alliance, but they are split 2 and 2. That is a vulnerability that they will most likely suffer from if they don't pull back together.
Watch the zone go north.
It's going to go up to farm, isn't it?
Watch, yep. Yeah, let's see a farm finish.
Guaranteed. IWNRX win this. There's no choice. Everybody else dead in the water.
Oh, okay, yeah, no farm finish. But you know what? This is the zone that all these teams expected to be. So, you know, now we're going to have to see, you know, IW Next Ria start moving. But D plus Kia, all these squads surrounding these bridges, got to move quickly here. And let's just see how they're going to do it. Now you got teams like Besiktas Black in a great position to gatekeep squads. We're going to start see the action ring out as early as stage number 2. It's a military finish. What do you expect?
It's going to be pretty difficult to make your way through, as Inco are going to find out against Power. Both trying to get across here. Pretty sure we've seen like 3 different pairings of teams on this East Bridge try to make it past one another, but it is not going to get any easier. Power, however, starting to move out, stretch their legs onto that catwalk on the bridge. Boom is holding on the other side. This is just going to make it pretty impossible, unless Boom leave, to get across this bridge.
I really don't like this play from Inco. I think that Inco need to play this quiet. You want to let Power go into the bridge by themselves. Hopefully they get into a fight, then you third party it. But they pulled that trigger just a little too early. Now every single team here is stuck, and it's hard. I mean, when you're at this stage, you get a little bit too trigger happy, and you're going to pay the price. So yeah, all these teams are going to get punished by Papa Blue. It is stage 3, so the blue zone isn't ticking too hard, but you're definitely going to suffer some casualties on the way into this next zone.
This is going to be a pretty bloody bridge crossing for sure. IWNRX taking the scrap, taking the fight with the Moneymakers once more. And the Moneymakers have lost a player because of it. IWNRX holding that coastline. It looks like they're going to get one more onto Icy. Slap bang in the middle of the circle, though. It is 4MV all the way right now. They have high ground control in a pretty decent position. They've got, I think, a little bit of building cover there. Down to their northeast, DX Xavier, who potentially on track for another good game. So 2 teams now for a repeat. Moneymakers over the top.
What a
Bosun
shot.
goes down. Inco rolling on in towards Prepod. Out the window, the spray goes well.
Yeah, this is just a lose-lose scenario. You don't want to take a fight, especially in this zone. And, you know, usually sometimes at the stage, we'll see teams realize that, and they'll say, you know what, why are we fighting, right? Let's just focus on getting into this circle, and then we can handle it later on. But yeah, these teams are just trying to soak up so many eliminations. And, you know, like, again, if you get a little too trigger happy, you're going to pay the price. And look at all these squads. Inco, Brute Force, Power, they're all getting punished right now.
Absolutely. It is going to be difficult to make head nor tail of this circle for the teams on the north side. Let's take a look at the difference of position right now from Alpha 7 and IWNRX. Alpha 7 moved so early from the northwest side. IWNRX bided so much time, and this is the result. right? IWNRX, drawn short, can't get across. Alpha 7, get down to Primorsk fast, get across, and now they're taking meat and bones out of CAG Osaka.
Yeah, now let's see what does happen with IWNRX, because D plus Kia said, you know what, we're not even going to challenge Bridge. Let's go back up north and go for the swim. That's going to be pretty difficult, though, right now, because you got teams like DRX staring at this area. Meanwhile, Nextruya down to a single player, just like that.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's what I was talking about, right? Being slow to leave from Zaki as well, by the way,
true.
when it's a military island circle. I mean, you kind of are a little bit lumped into playing that that outskirts, that edge position. As our first team goes down, it is indeed D plus Kia.
Yeah, D plus Kia, they won the first match, you know, but weren't able to have a similar result here. They put up a goose egg here in match number 2, but when you put up a good game number 1, that definitely does help. So let's see who else is going to be able to get it done. Right now, my eyes are on 4MV, man. They're in 3rd place with 13 points. They have an excellent position in this next circle. Let's see how they capitalize on it. Meanwhile, yeah, the rest of these squads are just trying to find a way in.
Yeah, a lot of this military base right now is going to provide cover. I'm assuming we're going to see a lot of solos, a lot of duos, maybe a trio take a lot of control on that south side, but leaving it is going to be very difficult with 4MV holding where they are, and with DX Xavier as well. Power rolling up to Reject right now, but Rage is too quick with it. Easy up to the door frame, but can he hold on? Divine tries to spray as a second buggy. Kareem's pop with the rest of Power. Another fall, another down, and there's Easy soon to follow. Divine gets the flush with the DP, and 3 players from Power dispatched. The 4th
That's all of them.
soon to follow. Getting into this military base now is all but over for everybody else.
Ooh, Divine getting knocked, but able to get in the building at the last second. That ends up being pretty good here. Meanwhile, watch the replay. Moneymakers shutting down that player from Nextruya. So I think that does leave only 1 player left up for them. We'll see what he's able to do here at the end of the day. But man, great play there from Team Reject.
Alpha 7 have 4 players alive, and they're in C block right now. They started in Georgiaport.
Oh, that's right.
This is crazy.
What a crazy rotation from them. They passed up so many teams, and that goes to show you, right? You got to be able to take risks. Besiktas Black spent so much time holding that bridge, and now they're paying for the price for it. They're all the way on the south side. Yeah, they have position, but it is not the most optimal. Very, very sneaky and smart plays there from Alpha 7.
Yeah, they push in from that western side of the island. They're moving through. Kagasaka go down, not providing enough resistance to stop them. Alpha 7 looking champion at the bit here to get a good game, to catch up to the top spots.
By the way, Inco's rotation, that was insane, right? They were holding that bridge there for so long, and they were able to rotate late through the blue zone and found a position in this next circle.
It's that Brazilian magic, man.
That's what it is.
They're just shimmying past everybody. No one could stop them. IWNRX, though, not so lucky. Brute Force, same story. 2 of the top teams from EMEA.
Wow, I'm surprised Inco were able to get everybody here. That is pretty insane. Teams are going to definitely keep an eye on that when they're studying after today. Meanwhile, you got Boom Esports. Keep an eye on Tianba, trying to gatekeep them. I don't see very many vehicles left from Tianba, so they are on the run. Oh, yeah, he does have that dossier. He needs to find a way into it here, because if that vehicle gets blown up, he is stuck out in the open.
DRX right now, right on the top of the hill, moving up towards 4MV. 4MV have lost
Huge
a player.
fight.
An excellent nade to find an opening knock onto this 3v3, meaning that they now have got even numbers on the players alive. But Refus is very, very low, very close to going down. And look at this, Alliance moving in on the northern side. They make that swim early, they hold their nerve, they play time, and now they can sweep through this northern hillside. One of the strongest positions in this next circle. DX Xavier want a slice of it too.
Yep, and the battles are starting to ring out, and here comes Alliance looking to sweep up these players, and that's exactly what happens. That's 4MV out of there. That's what happens when you take a fight just a little too early in a zone like this. Stage 5, Alliance, perfect timing here, and DRX are able to make it out of there, but not completely unscathed. They lose 1 player.
Yeah, they've been on 3 for a while now. I think it was just Lamborghini scouting.
Right.
The rest of them are actually in that military base down to the south side. Paragen and Nate both going to be taking up residency there in the shadow of the 4-man squad from Alpha 7 in C.
And, Alpha 7, when it comes to C block, they know this area like the back of their hand. So they are ready for this one. This is their time to shine. And, Alpha 7, when they're on that edge play, they have really good odds. But when they get center zone and the plays are obvious, that's where they are the most deadly. Let's see how they're going to be able to hold on to it, though. Meanwhile, I am looking here. We still have Boom Esports on top of that hill. That's a really good position. They are starting to push down in here to that broken wall. This might be a little bit of a bet play considering it's still so early.
Boom moving down into the ditch.
That was risky.
Behind them. Could potentially get down shots, but the teams in military base could keep them safe as well. Sheltering in a storm of bullets might be their only option right now. They're going to try and make it work. CG Osaka will not be able to weather the storm, unfortunately. They are going to go down. Now, this northern hill still very much contested. Alliance and DRX, who's going to be able to wrest control of it?
Yeah, I would have liked to see Boom Esports, hold that hill, maybe clear their backs out first and then focus a little bit inward. But it looks like they just try to hedge their bets and try to send it on in early, maybe catch some teams off guard. But yeah, they do make some sacrifices in the process. Ooh. Jimmy with the shots, put in work, and the run over confirmation. DRX getting punished.
Absolutely. Good stuff, but they do lose a player. Unfortunately, he sat down on top of a nade, but he steps out, he strafes away, and there's another knock. 2 players from U2 around in the sidelines, and now 1 more player from DRX to go. The vehicle goes up in smoke, and so does that Northern Hill position. Alliance need to keep it together, though. They've only got 3, and Besiktas have a sideline.
Oh, but the smokes are ringing out very quickly, but Alliance are able to get that red. So they're going to continue with 3 players. 5 eliminations already. The most eliminations we've seen so far. Actually, Tiamba was 7. They're doing a great job in their position. And let's see if they're able to finish out Inca. Only 1 player left. It's Nunez.
Nade over, doesn't quite get the job done. Another knock sent back, but it's not enough to slow the roll of Tiamba, who can get back up to 4 and contest for this northern spot as well. The next circle, so important now, and Alpha 7 are under pressure and it's going to pop.
Oh, and this is a great time for teams to try to move on in here because there's so much action happening here in C block. Besiktas black, but this is just 1 player in this spot. Yeah, so they are going to have some sight lines from that scaffolding, but it's very, very, very difficult to make some good shots onto the C block from that position.
In they go. Toshbit goes down first, and Alpha 7 holding strong on the west building of C Block. Looks like they're all in the same building as well, so they want to stick together. They want to not have any vulnerabilities. I think it's wise at this point.
I think Besiktas jumped the gun on this one. I think they didn't need to take this fight right now. At a certain point, you could just realize, hey, we have this side of the map covered. Alpha 7 has C block. Let's just, take out every single team and then work on each other at the end to get that first and second. Yep. But no, I think Besiktas, they wanted the whole thing. And when you get a little bit greedy like that, sometimes you bite off a little bit more than you could chew. I
feel like Boom are in actually a really pivotal spot in this circle, Hot Jukes, because on this northeastern side, Tiamba are going to try and roll down. They're going to get shot at by the teams in military base on that roll down, as well as Boom in that ditch already. As Besiktas trying to maneuver around Alpha 7 in towards C block. I think Tiamba are going to have a really tough time to go through. It'd be pretty strong stuff if they could be able to take this one through.
But they have so much coverage, though. That hill is still very, very strong. That's why I'm surprised Boom left so early. If they were able to hold that spot, they could have third-party Tiamba, and then they had nobody on their backs. But let's just see how it plays out. At the end of the day, sometimes, like I said, you gotta flip that coin. Sometimes it goes heads, sometimes it goes tails.
Take that risk. We'll see if it pays off. Over towards the billboard right now, Alliance actually moved down on that west side. They're taking cover there. And if you're looking at the mini-map, I don't think you can quite see it on the mini-map, but we got the map feed here. There is a Besiktas player still up top. They do get knocked. A high long nade coming on through. Look at that.
That's a firecracker right there.
Jimmy, what a treat from Alliance. Delivering that nade on a silver platter. Perfectly placed. Able to get the nade and the job done. Alliance now playing on with 3 from the west side. A little bit isolated from the rest of this scrap.
That's one of the sickest nades I've seen in a long time. So that was perfectly placed and cooked.
Onto Mafioso.
Yep, and now you got Boom in that one ridge. That little dip isn't very good coverage. You can see QZZ starting to put some work on it. 1 nade's all it take. Will that do it? Oh, he does get pieced up in the process. Yummy still trying to hold on for dear life. And he is down to just about a 3rd HP. And you can see Boom Esports, last player up. Like I said, this rotation, just I think a little bit too early. But we'll see. I mean, there's still plenty of time left. Yummy isn't out just yet. We'll see if he's able to sneak away some placement points.
To get rid of Yummy right now, Tiamba are going to have to expend a lot of smokes to keep cover against DX Xavier. You can see Paragin has incredible sightlines out that way. They need to get rid of him now before they expend too much resource to allow them to get into military base and navigate through it later on. That's exactly what they do. The P90 is good for long, and now they can start to transition, right? But you can see no smokes for him. The rest of the team, likely not too many either. So we'll see if that comes back to bite them.
Yeah, let's see what happens here. Now, Tiamba, they were able to get across, so they do have quite a few players. Looks like we have a 2-2 split going on.
12 limbs for Tiamba, by the way.
12 limbs. These guys are crushing it. That hill position paying off dividends for them. Meanwhile, Alpha 7, the other team to have 4 players up. One does get knocked, though, right here. But he should be in a position to get rezzed in that C block spot. Meanwhile, Alliance are going to be taking... Oh, actually, they're moving away from Scaffolding. Carrillo, quick on the gun, gets 2.
And they are going to get flushed very, very quickly there. Excellent to be on the lookout. I mean, knew there were players there. They tried to make the cross. The vehicle just didn't have the HP to sustain it. And it was the vehicle explosion that took them down. Tiamba now starting to move in on the east side. Alliance gonna start to crunch in on that west, but they only have that one player now remaining. DX Xavier and Alpha 7, the 2 real team forces right now in this circle. Tiamba having a tough time. If they can get a res off, sure. But right now, it's not looking so good.
He's going to go for it. He does have a little bit of a smoke here, and not to mention you got Alliance pushing up onto Alpha 7, taking a lot of the IA line, actually the sight lines from Alpha 7. Focused on trying to get this elimination. That could be good for a team like Tiamba. Oh man, Mafioso. This guy moves an inch and he's gone, never mind. Yeah, he didn't even have to move. That is Alliance out of here. 4 teams remaining.
Low ammo on the M4, though, for Mafioso.
That's true.
He's got the DBS in the back pocket, and it's going to get close range pretty soon. So he does certainly have the firepower to spare. Moving on in. That's the danger of holding a central position where people can't really get in towards you, is you do exhaust that ammo supply quicker than you might think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are a lot of crates nearby, but it's going to be difficult to get to them. And I think you can see some smokes ringing out so they can hopefully try and loot up just a little bit. They do have some time. There's nobody on their backs, but that's the hard part about this particular zone. There's so many nooks and crannies players could be hiding. And if you're a team like Alpha 7, maybe you don't want to take that risk at all.
Tiamba making their move on the eastern side, and Molotov gets that opening knock towards the 3 players of DX Xavier. They've got the numbers to back it up. They're trying to establish that smoke line to allow them more maneuverability around the scrap that they're going to take with DX Xavier. They want this. And Lamborghini goes down to an A. QZ taken low to an off angle from a distance, but gets back to cover, can get some healing done. 13 eliminations, and they want more. They are going to hold that sight line. They are going to go around the edge. Liu almost established now with those smokes bloomed. Long breaches into the building. They're pushing DX Xavier.
Tiamba pushing into the police station here. They got those nades out and ready. Nade in big trouble. He gets naded himself. And so Tiamba are on a tear right now. 15 eliminations. These guys aren't messing around.
Get Leo back to your feet, and you're in a 4v4 with Alpha 7. Besiktas on the sidelines. They're crunched into the south building, a C block, and it is all going to be on the momentum that Tiamba can carry forwards from this engagement. Do Alpha 7 have the smokes to stop them down? Do they have the ordnance to do it as well? Remember, they may have been bleeding their resources a little bit dry. 4 nades on one of the Alpha 7 players there, but Tiamba can move through these death crates. They can resupply. They should have quite a lot of resources at their disposal.
They have a ton of resources, not to mention they are red hot right now. Their fingers are moving at a perfect pace. I'll tell you what, there's something about waiting for fights for so long. You know, it kind of puts you that 10th of a second behind. If you're a team like Tiamba that has been fight after fight after fight, you're going to be just that much quicker. But it's up to Alpha 7 to stop this rotation. I think if you're Alpha 7, you got to stop them right here, right now. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Revo is in this choke point position. He cannot get knocked. That's why we're seeing him play this so safe.
I've got a teammate up on the roof with him. They're playing above the 2 Besiktas players right now. They are using Besiktas as a buffer to stop these players from going down. Oh, yeah. They're going to use that scrap, potentially third party it, hold this central position, and let the blue zone do the work.
They're not worried about Besiktas at all. Right now, all eyes are on Tiamba. They want to take this team out first and then worry about anybody else in the buildings afterwards, and it'll be an easy chicken dinner for them. But it's going to be quite difficult to get past Tiamba because these guys, like I mentioned, red hot. This is getting a little bit of time here, so they are starting, those fingers are getting a little bit cold, and it's not going to be an easy rotation. There's only so many different spots you can try to move from this area. this police station. But oh, we're at stage 9. This zone's about to go into nothing here. So it's going to come down to the last seconds who can hit their shots.
If Alpha 7 take too many casualties, there's a potential for Besiktas to take this one down, right? They need to find this knock on the cross. Standing up is dangerous.
Survive.
The backlines can start to emerge. They haven't got the knock. They haven't been able to take him down yet. This nade needs to land. 3 nades in the pocket for Revo.
Looks
it's
good.
on target, but the first nade came through. Gets up to the wall as well, and the rest of Tianbar looked across. Besiktas in the meantime going to be nading them out as well. That Molotov is going to burn. It's going to hurt. Tianbar forced up against the wall, and it's Lewis to get the knock. Up on the roof though, Alpha 7 continue to ring out the shots. Mafioso wants to drop, but he's held back on the leash by the rest of his team. They've got control, but over they go. They waterfall down, but they're getting picked up. As McGrellan goes down on the sidelines, he's looking for the spray. Long has the P90. He's got the challenge, hits the deck, the reload there, and he's got the weapons out. Tianbar make the cross with 2 players alive.
And that's a bit. Besiktas are now out in the action. Tianbar, you is still holding that spot. That nade looks good. He survives to 1 HP though. This is a close one. It is a 2v2v2. And he went for this. Oh, and Besiktas get the knock.
From the top rope, Kakali descends the stairs, takes another player out. Tianbar now on 1, 2v2v1. Liu behind the wall, indomitable in his spirit there. Carrillo from the top rope, Revo there as well. They allowed players to go too far. They didn't need to leave the roof.
They didn't need to leave the roof at all. 1 minute on the clock. Again, this circle is going to go down into nothing. We may see the blue zone take out the last player here. So you could see Alpha 7 Carrillo. Unfortunately, no utility left. So they're not able to take down you, but Papa Blue might just do that itself. So it looks like most likely going to be a battle between Alpha 7 and Besiktas to win this one.
Liu now up into the corner. Utility dry. That is the danger. Alpha 7 feeling it now. Do Besiktas have anything? Liu's got something. What's that? Oh, I think it's the stunner, the flashbang there. The blue zone's got to push Liu out. He has to take the challenge, getting those stunners out early to force this challenge to be a little bit easier, but Kakali's waiting as well. A full white out there, and Liu, is he? He's still just going to hold it.
I think so. I mean, just deny the point.
There's no way you get out.
Yeah, deny the point. Oh, pan! Can we see it?
Oh, pan shot.
Oh, I think, did it hit him? No, never mind. Papa Blue.
Besiktas now.
Yes. Here we go. Reroll. Jumps out. The 360 fall. And that's
the second as well. Revo jumps over the top rope. First shot with the auto shotty and a second through the window. These guys just do not stop. Alpha 7, what a way to close that one down. A miraculous finish from the roof of the C block.
Oh, what a play right there. And it was a little bit too close for comfort. They lost 2 players on that crazy, crazy position. What a beautiful 1v1 from that player from Tianbar. That was so, so close. You got to give it up to that squad, though. They pushed through every single person. So many eliminations. I wouldn't be surprised to see them with the most points after the match number 2.
Tianbar were crazy that game. To get as far as they did, to allow them to get that cross, that is absolutely crazy. Right? These guys just don't stop. It's great to see them starting to turn things on as well. A little bit disappointed in Alliance, I have to say.
That's true.
I feel like they had an excellent position on that northern side. Same story for DX Xavier. I think they committed to the military base a little bit too early, potentially. I mean, it's really difficult to break that one down.